Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode on Monday Positivity. And today I'm actually going to talk to you about a technique. It's a therapy modality, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy or cognitive behavior therapy. Um, and the reason I want to talk to you about it is because I think uh, I have actually come across, many people who struggle with uh, anxiety and overthinking and many other things that I think can be solved by CBT. And if you are someone whose mind has ever felt like, if you felt like uh there is a never ending loop of thoughts or what ifs, or shouldn't I do this, should I do that, this episode is actually going to be for you. And I'm going to talk to you about something that has helped me work on my self doubts, and it has also helped so many of my clients back when I was mindset coach. And even like when I teach, uh, because I also am a English speaking coach. And sometimes when students come to me and they tell me that they are not able to talk confidently, they want to work on their speaking skills, I do use CBT. uh, they might not know because they don't understand the process, but sometimes it's not the problem of the language. It's all in your head, you know and don't worry, I'm not going to turn this episode into a therapy lecture. And I've actually created a few notes here, so I will not forget the important points. And the main idea of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is to learn to catch your thoughts before they catch you. Because it's like, if you have a thought and you can identify it, you can catch it. This is what I'm thinking. Then you can work on it. And if you don't do that, then there's a loop, because you think one thought and then there's another and all that, right? And I actually shared uh, this modality with a person recently who was struggling with anxiety. And if you are someone, so I'm going to take a few examples here. Let's say if you are someone who struggles with anxiety, understand first of all that anxiety isn't just about fear. Okay. Often it's your mind's way of saying, I'm trying to protect you from something, but I don't trust the process at the moment. I'm trying to protect you, but I don't have the faith as well. I don't trust the process I'm using, or I don't trust this present moment. That's what anxiety is, right? Your mind is trying to tell you, I want to protect you, but I don't trust. I have no faith. And that's okay. First of all, you need to understand what anxiety is. And also try to understand that an anxious mind isn't broken mind, because many people feel that if they have anxiety, that means something is wrong with them. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just that your brain is overreactive, and it could be because of many reasons. It could be because of the sensitivities. It could be because of, the conditioning, the, you know, past trauma, your environment. And what CBT does is it helps you slow that over reactivity down, and it helps you notice the story your mind is telling you. Now, I'm trying to explain the process of CBT, and then I'll tell you how you can do it on yourself. Okay. So CBT helps you first catch the thought, and then you ask yourself, is this a fact? Is this a thought? What's the logic behind it? Is it true? What's the evidence behind it? Okay. Now let's understand how CBT actually works, because CBT is actually built on one, I would say, powerful truth. And the truth is, you can't always control what happens, but you can control what you tell yourself about it. So, if let's say there was a fight at your workplace, and then it traumatized you. Now, what are the stories you keep telling yourself about it, right? Because you could not control the fight, you cannot control a lot of things in life, but what are the stories you tell yourself about, those things? That's what CBT is all about, because I have to look at the screen for a long time. I need to I need to put on these screen glasses sometimes. And coming back to CBT, so that's what CBT is. That's the core truth of it. What are the stories you keep telling yourself about certain events? We can't control the event. You can't control how a person reacts, what a person says, um, a lot of things. But what are the stories you keep telling yourself about that person or that event or that situation? Okay. That is in your control. And it's about recognizing three levels. First level is your thoughts, then your feelings, and then your behavior. It's like a loop. Okay. Your thoughts, what's running in your head, your feelings, what those thoughts make you feel. So if the thought is about it was bad, it will make you feel bad or it will make you feel scared. And then the behavior, those how those feelings make you act. So the thought first, the thought generates, then you feel something, and then you do something. So when you are stuck in anxiety, instead of saying, I feel awful, I feel anxious, CBT teaches you to ask yourself, what thought triggered this feeling? I'm feeling anxious, right? Anxiety is a feeling. What thought triggered this feeling? And I'm just taking one example. I'm just taking this example of anxiety because this is something that came to my mind. There was one client I was working with. This client and the person had uh, you know uh, anxiety issues. So you can do this with any other feeling also. If you are feeling scared, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling jealous, if you are feeling any negative emotion for that matter, ask yourself what thought triggered this feeling. That's the first step. So in case of anxiety, what thought triggered anxiety? That's what I would ask myself. Then I would ask myself, is this thought 100% true? Is it 100% true? Is this thought 100% true? And if it is not, what's a more balanced way to see it? Now, these are, three steps. Now, let me give you an example. For example, let's say you made one mistake. Mistake could be that um, I'll give you an example. So let's say you forgot to mark the attendance, right? If you're a teacher, you forgot to mark the attendance. Now the thought would be, oh, I made a mistake. I'm a terrible person. I made a mistake. How could I forget to mark the attendance, right? So that's the thought. Because I made a mistake, I'm a terrible person. Now you need to ask yourself, is it true? Just because I forgot to mark the attendance, does that make me a terrible person? Ask yourself, is it true? Does that really make you a terrible person? And then you will understand it actually doesn't, because everybody makes mistakes, right? There are many times when you marked attendance on time And it was just maybe, today you forgot to mark it. And then the new thought will be, everyone makes mistakes. I can handle whatever happens next. It's not that big of a deal. So try to understand it's not about toxic, not toxic, I would say it's not about blind positivity. It's about emotional honesty. Because when we are emotionally overwhelmed, we tell a lot of stories in our head. Let's say you were in a party and a person forgot to greet you. Your story will be, oh, she doesn't like me. She hates me. She ignored me. This is the thought. And then the feeling will be, I'm feeling something, like I don't feel right. Why did they do that to me? Before it turns into that feeling and then the action, you need to catch that thought. And how would you know you need to catch it? Because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Negative thoughts are very easy to catch, actually. It doesn't feel right, whenever there is a negative thought and then it generates, negative feeling. So you need to catch that thought and you need to ask yourself, okay, the person forgot to greet me, but does that really mean they don't like me? Is there an evidence against it? Maybe they did something uh, for me in the past which actually showed that they like me, right? So there is one evidence against this thought. And it could also be that the person was really busy. Sometimes, when we are really busy, we ignore people, not because we don't like them, but we are genuinely busy, right? So this is another example how you can, use CBT. And then there is another method that I wanted to share with you. It's called the 5 minute thought detox method. Here's something you can try today also. Every time there is a negative feeling or a negative thought, take 5 minutes when you feel anxious. And it's actually called ABCDE method. I listened to one YouTube personality, and I forgot the name. And I also forgot the entire technique, but I'm going to tell you what I understood by that. So it's like every time you feel anxious or you feel jealous, you feel angry, you feel sad, or any negative emotion, you stop. And how you can do it, you can make 5 columns actually. If you have a notepad, or if you want, if you're more of like if you're more into, journaling and writing, just make 5 columns. And then in the first column, you write the situation, right? So write the situation, what happened that actually generated, that feeling. So if you are, let's say, feeling angry, write about the situation. So in the first column, you write the situation, what caused it, what caused, that feeling or that trigger. In the second column, you will write about the thought you had. So what are you thinking right now? So if, let's say, you are angry at your colleague, write about the situation. I'm angry because I asked them to do the work, but they didn't do it. That's the situation. What is the thought? The person is irresponsible. The person is careless. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe uh, they are, again, careless, irresponsible, or something. And then in the third column, you write about the emotion you felt. Because of the situation, I'm feeling angry. I'm also feeling, let's say, in hurry because I want the work to be finished on time. And in the fourth column, you write the intensity of that emotion on the scale of 1 to 10. How intense is this feeling, right? And in the last column, in the fifth column, you will write about a more balanced thought. And to be very honest, like in the intensity column, the column where you write the intensity, you can also write the evidence for that thought or for that feeling. So the thought was they are irresponsible, maybe they don't like me, all of that. Ask yourself, is it is this 100% true? What is the evidence against? Do I have an evidence against it? Okay, write about those things. And then in the last column, you will write a more balanced thought. This balanced thought is actually a new thought. Okay, so the new thought could be maybe the person is actually busy. I can call them, I can text them and ask them whether they are able to finish the work or not. I can also tell them that I want the work to be finished by certain date or time, and I can tell them how important this work is, right? This is another way of thinking, right? And once you do this exercise, I promise you, you'll notice when your thoughts shift, and they will shift if you do it, all the 5 steps. And you will see that when your thoughts shift, your body starts calming down, right? And you can actually get more clarity because your mind and body are constantly talking to each other. Okay. And also, I also want to say that it's not like your anxiety will be or your feelings will change overnight. I'm not saying that. It will not erase, the negative emotions, the negative feelings, anxiety, and all of that overnight. We are all human beings. But yes, it will teach your brain to stop automatically believing every scary thought, every negative thought that, passes through. Okay. And now let's also understand why it matters, why this technique is so important. Why do I feel like, why do I feel like, why, why did I feel the need to share it first? And why do I feel like, everybody should know it? It's because I think specifically these days, we live in a world that glorifies urgency. Everything is urgent, you know? It glorifies reaction, it glorifies responses, it glorifies the rush, but healing does not happen overnight. It takes time. It's about the response over reaction, and response actually uh, requires, sometimes it requires time. Immediate, if it is immediate, it will be a reaction. Response might need some time. And it's about, creating that pause where you can actually choose the response. Creating that space between what happens and what you do next. And in that pause, in that space, you reclaim your power. You can reclaim your power. You stop being a slave to your thoughts and your feelings. You stop being slave to your fears and you start being the observer of your thoughts. And that's what CBT trains you for. And if this resonated with you, maybe your next step is to just, do this, the 5 step process I shared. Next time, a negative feeling, anxiety, overthinking, whatever it is, next time it hits you, don't ask, how do I stop this? Maybe something is wrong with me. Don't ask yourself that. Ask instead, what am I believing right now? What are my thoughts right now? What is the belief behind that? That is making me feel unsafe. Any negative feeling is what? It is something that is making you feel unsafe. Even if you're angry, you're jealous, the emotion behind is that, danger to my safety. And safety doesn't mean physical safety only, it can be emotional safety as well. Okay. But you need to catch it, catch the thought, and then change it. And these questions, it can actually shift everything. All right. I really hope, this episode helped you. And if you know someone who can benefit from this technique, do share it with them. And again, I just gave you one example of anxiety. You can do it with any thought you have. And Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, once you start, healing your thoughts, I would say we talk about, healing a lot, but we hardly talk about healing our thoughts. I think if you start healing your thoughts, the way you think, it has, ripple effect. Your feelings start healing. Your actions will be, more from a healed place. And I just wanted to, create this episode to remind you that your thoughts are not the truth. Your thoughts are not facts. They are just visitors. And you choose which one, which ones you let stay. And if nothing else, you can just pick, this one statement and repeat it to yourself over and over. Your thoughts are not facts. Okay? Your thoughts are not facts. They are just visitors. It's like, you are the driver of a bus and you're driving the bus and there are a lot of passengers boarding the bus. Thoughts are just like that. You are the driver. You know the destination. You know where the bus is heading. But the passengers will be there. They'll talk to each other. Some will be very noisy. Some will be very calm. They'll talk to each other. They'll discuss, different topics and all of that. But being the driver, you have to drop these passengers, right? You just have to let these thoughts go and stay focused, right? And that's what CBT teaches you. You just need to catch the thought that makes you feel unsafe. You need to tell yourself this thought is not a fact, and then question its truth. Question whether it's actually the truth. What is the evidence here that it is not the truth? And then give yourself a more balanced thought. Give yourself a more healed, changed thought. And then once the thought is changed, feeling changes and the action changes.